Welcome to seeing my face for the first time. I bet you didn't expect that. You want to know what else you didn't expect? I have a different YouTube channel. Not this one. Find it on your own. Trust me. It'll be a real shocker if you know my voice. That being said, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about something real for a second. Do you like claustrophobia? Do you like unlimited oceans of blood? Do you perhaps fancy yourself a person who looks into the onward abyss and thinks, I'd rather be curled up in a room so small you could take 8 steps and have walked around it twice, a room so small you would consider yourself lucky to have looked out of any window before they were all shut? Are you feeling the crippling isolation of only hearing the noises provided by a screen? Got a little too real for a second. I forgot some people are still doing the whole pandemic thing. Some people are very, very financially unstable, so we have to work. Thanks. That being said, today we're going to be talking about a little video game that I very recently, and I mean like 3 hours ago, beat the game. I looked up if there were other endings, and there weren't, so I'm going to talk about it right now because this was a little gem and I loved it. That being said, today we're going to be talking about essentially what I'd like to refer to as by the name given on the Steam, Iron Lung. Essentially a very short indie game developed by my man, David Zemansky. That being said, this is a very short game, very atmospheric game with probably an incredibly dark opening and a very slow burn everything else. Now, that doesn't mean the game is boring. If you're not drawn in, like you're listening to something else while playing it, you're probably not going to get the full effect. But if you sit down, turn the lights off, and enjoy about an hour and a half worth of game, that being said, I beat the game in 82 minutes, which I think is about the right amount, because I'm not a very good gamer. I'm also not a guy who very much plays horror games, but this one caught my eye. So, the reason I found this game was it was extremely cheap. Like, I'm pretty sure it was $3 when I bought it, and then it went on sale after I bought it for 99 cents. So, where's my $2 back, Steam? That being said, this was worth the $3 because hour and a half, it's about $3 worth of content. You play as a nameless prisoner, essentially in a very, very cheaply scrapped together submarine known as the Iron Lung. You are on a planet, well, more like a moon actually, that has what is essentially a gaping sore in it that essentially is an ocean full of blood. Yeah, we're starting out at a pretty good place. Grimdark all the way, yo. Also, that being said, why are we on this planet? Sounds like a fucking nightmare. The reason you're on this planet is because, out of nowhere, something called the Silent Rapture happened, where essentially all habitable planets in the universe were erased like that. Also, every single star in the universe was also disappeared. But, that being said, when stars disappear, their light is actually still traveling, and the main reason I wanted to make this video is because I thought this was cool. When stars disappear from the sky, essentially all over the world, you can still see them for the longest period of time because stars are constantly radiating light that takes so long to get here. If, let's say, a stream of water were being shot at you from 90 feet away, it's a powerful ass stream. I don't know what sort of like fire hose he stole, but he's using it and he's shooting it all straight towards you. Now let's say out of nowhere you said, that's not cool, and then you pulled out a Glock and then shot that dude, the water would still be coming towards you all the way until it was no longer pointed at you. Imagine that, but light constantly. And since light travels so far so fast, they're always there until eventually they're not. Think of it more like how many light years is that away from me? That's how many years it will continue to shine on you until eventually it burns out and the sky goes dark. That's called ghost light, and I think it's fucking dope. That being said, all of that is like 2 paragraphs, and then it's never brought up again. Because the rest of this game is essentially you, this lone prisoner, who's essentially saying, I want to survive the rest of the time. And you don't. Because this is a horseshit game about making you feel good. You see, this is how the game is played. You are given a very small selection of things that you can do. You can take picture, just press a button, and then it will show you a black and white, very grainy photo of what you're looking at. Really drawing in the idea that you don't really know what's out there. It could be extremely unrendered and very terribly made, but it is so hard to figure out what you're looking at because of how, like, grady and unpolished that it is, that it's legitimately scary. It's a lot of the times when you see, like, really, like, freaky drawings, they convey shape, but not detail. And there's something ominous about that. This is what this game is very good at. It creates ominous feels without doing a lot to do it. Very small amounts of sounds are used throughout it that make it seem like something very strange is going on, as you're not able to see outside of the submarine. There are no windows, the only one being closed off the second the game starts. And this little button takes a picture, and then that is all you have. And you can only take one photo, probably every like 3 seconds, but you have to move to point where the camera is going. That sounds fucking terrifying. And that also being said, you're at the bottom of an ocean full of blood, which is metal and probably a vampire's greatest dream. But then again, that would be like an ocean full of gravy, and after like 2 hours, everything would be terrible. Let's not look too far into it. Now you see, you're the lone prisoner who has to find this big ass map that has a whole bunch of things on it that are really kind of just hard to figure out. And you have to make your submarine go through each and every one of these things while not hitting the walls, otherwise you die. And when you die, you start the whole damn game over, or you continue from a save point, which generally adds a layer of like, oh damn it. And the save points help because it keeps the tension going even if you fuck up. That also being said, you can only view things by going at an X and Y axis. There, literally all you do is press X to then continue, or you can press forward or backwards, and then it shows where on this XY axis you are moving. This XY axis perhaps also shows you where you're going on these coordinates, and your coordinates are the only thing that you're able to see throughout the entire game. A little sonar will tell you if you're near a rock or something else gets near you. Don't worry about that something else. Don't worry about that something else. Don't worry about that something else. And also, you take these pictures at these certain locations across the map, and then you look at your map again, a little check mark says you found what you're there for. Make sure you're precise though, because it's very precision heavy. That being said, I'm not going to spoil the rest of the game because it's $3 at its most and $1 at its least. If you have a potato of a computer, if you're stealing Wi-Fi from a school, you can play this game and you can run this game. I would very highly recommend it if you are very much a horror person. That being said, I'm more of a horror movie dude. Horror video games feel like a little too frustrating to deal with to me because I view it, I'm very goofy in this sort of aspect, and I end up doing stupid shit to make the game more lighthearted, and it's hard to deal with. That's why I'm not a big fan of Resident Evil. There's so much goofy in it, or I like Resident Evil. I'm just not a big fan of like playing the games. I'd rather see somebody else play the game because it's just fun seeing how goofy some people can make it, and that's all what I do with video games. This, however, felt more like a movie. It's quiet. It's devoid of a lot. There's only small sound throughout the whole thing, and honestly, I feel like I've talked enough about this, depending on whether or not you want to. This is an hour-and-a-half game. It's about $3. I'd very highly recommend it. David Zemisky, I need to play your other games, because they apparently are also short, sweet, and really weird. That being said, I'm gonna get out of here because I have other shit to watch, like weird black and white movies that nobody else has really heard of unless you're from the 50s, in which case these are modern media, similar to that of Marvel. So I'm gonna go and try to disappoint my grandparents. So until next time, I'll feed a Zane. I'll see you later.